This is the location as three drivers battle it out to be crowned British Touring Car champion. The first of three British Touring Car races at Silverstone saw Jason Plato qualify in pole and hold on to first place, while Matt Neal slipped by Chris Smiley for second. Tom Ingram had lined up fourth on the grid, but he was the man to watch as his strong getaway propelled him into third past Tom Oliphant as they ran into Copse. Plato led by more than a second at the end of the opening lap. Meanwhile, a robust move through Brooklands on Neal promoted Ingram to second. He then closed up on Plato, used a tighter line through Luffield and a stronger exit to hold the inside. Despite door banging, Ingram held onto first into Copse and from that point wouldn't look back. By lap 6, Turkington had dropped to 11th, while title rival Jordan climbed the leaderboard. As Turkington fell further back into the pack, he was caught in Rob Collard and Adam Morgan's battle, spinning on the run to the line. He dropped as far as 25th, but would eventually work his way back into the points. Jordan would move into 8th after a robust move on Chilton, while Ash Sutton was sidelined with a puncture. Ingram would go on to take victory, but Jordan was dealt a 6-second penalty for the contact with Chilton, dropping him to 10th. He now sits just 6 points adrift of Turkington, with Camish a further 5 back in third. Ingram was in pole for race 2 and held off Plato as they went into Copse. Rain held off initially, but in the later greasy conditions, Plato struggled to slow going into Brooklands, making contact with Ingram. Oliphant then hit Plato wide, and as they all rejoined side by side, he was now leading the way. But there was a safety car period when Adam Morgan spun his Mercedes into the gravel on the exit of Beckett's. There was disagreement between Andrew Jordan and title rival Dan Camish over track position, and they banged doors while circulating. At the restart, Oliphant slid immediately wide at Copse to allow Ingram through, and a hard-charging Turkington into second. The race was then red flagged when Carl Baldley went into the gravel, having been nudged by Mark Blundell. With more than three-quarter race distance completed, Ingram was declared the winner, with Turkington second, who's now 11 points clear of Camish, who leapfrogs Jordan in the standings. A late dash of rain on the green flag lap for the last race prompted Jack Goff to gamble and pit for wet tyres for the race start, as Ashley Sutton, who began in pole narrowly, led into Copse. But not for long, as Matt Simpson swept by into Maggots. However, a poor exit onto the Wellington straight gifted the lead back to Sutton and dropped Simpson into the sights of Andrew Jordan. Simpson ran across the nose of Jordan on the approach to Luffield and continued onto the grass into retirement. That meant a safety car period, with much of the field changing to wet tyres as 19th place Goff posted the fastest lap of the race. From the restart, Goff and Moffat made huge progress up the order until Moffat ran wide at Copse and lost the rear of his car on the slippery curbs. Jason Plato ended Adam Morgan's race when they came into contact at Luffield. That allowed Turkington to climb to 7th after a door-banging battle with teammate and championship rival Jordan. At the flag, the wet tyre gamble paid off for Goff as he took his first ever British Touring Car win. Turkington leads the way, 16 points ahead of Camish, and Jordan a further 11 behind, ahead of the Brands Hatch season finale.
Jake Hill, Rory Butcher, the best front-wheel drive cars right in there. They probably are fancying their chances. It's well known the rear-wheel drive cars don't particularly like these changeover conditions. They've got nothing to lose.
So, hang on to your hats, everybody, because finals day is upon us at Brands Hatch. Round 28 of the Quick Fit British Touring Car Championship is go. Who makes the best start? It's Sutton. Sutton outtracks Turkington. Oliphant tries to get round the outside of Jordan. Jordan goes to the outside of Turkington. The three BMWs try to overlap going into turn one, and Turkington fends off his teammates. Sutton leads the way. Turkington second, Jordan is third, Oliphant fourth as they dive through paddock for the first time. Sutton has got into the race lead. Turkington is where he needs to be, but look, all of a sudden Rory Butcher in the front-wheel drive Civic goes round the outside. He's gaining places. You ride with Jordan, third, down to Grand Hill Bend, but crucially he's not yet ahead of Turkington.
Yeah, great start by Ash Sutton. He got away well. Turkington had to go defensive. He's still going defensive. And Rory Butcher really flew off the start. Oliphant's the one that's dropped back.
And there he is, muscling his way up the inside of Cook. There's Camish on the move as well. Here he is then in the Honda. So Dan Camish making progress with 48 kilos of weight on board. Tom Oliphant has indeed slipped back, but that could be advantageous in a way because now he is there as the cork in the bottle against Camish, preventing him from making progress.
Him and Dan Camish, good friends from their Porsche racing days in Carrera Cup, but divided loyalties because certainly Oliphant is going to back up his BMW teammates. Look at Butcher looking up the inside. This is a risky move coming through Dingledale up to Sheen, but clearly we've got some issues with cars warming their tyres at different rates.
Yeah, those friendships are all on hold until 6:30 tonight, aren't they? Out of Stirling's, they come for the first time. Riding then with Josh Cook, Jake Hill ahead. Local hero, another reason why the impecunious Jake, winner at Knock Hill, wants a victory here to impress local sponsors. He comes through Clark Curve, but Cookie is on his tail. Ash Sutton leads. Remember, it was Ash that won that photo finish between him and Cook at the end of last season. Sutton leads, but Turkington is staying with him.
The other crucial thing is, these are the first real dry laps these guys have run. Both free practices were in damp conditions. Qualifying was in damp conditions. So it's a voyage into the unknown for every lap. Butcher up the inside of Jordan.
Through he goes, that puts him third. That's bad news for AJ. Rory Butcher goes through. Remember, he wants the independence title away from Josh Cook, so he's outscoring him, but he gets it a little bit wrong at Graham Hill Bend. Here comes the BMW back up the inside. Gap closes. Jordan's back to rallycross mode. Two wheels on the dirt, back onto the tarmac. Jake Hill to the outside line as well. Rory Butcher third. Jake Hill goes round the outside. Yes, he's done it. Hill goes fourth. Good move. Race leaders go by, and .165 becomes .229 as Jordan does the fastest lap of the race. And here comes Turkington to the inside of Sutton. Elbows out. Colin, he's going to try and fight for this championship. He's not going to settle for second in the race. He goes through on the inside. Fantastic. Really good, feisty driving. He's not just prepared to sit there and bank the points. He wants to try to win this from the front.
Yeah, good for you, Colin Turkington, getting stuck in. But he's going to have to squeeze Sutton there, and he does squeeze him hard to the inside. But that was good, forceful driving. He felt he had Plato's off at Graham Hill. He's back on at the bottom straight. Sutton's really fighting back, but that was great to see Turkington pushing.
Okay, now it's Sutton pushing, and Turkington pushing back. Through on the inside line he goes. Look at this. Two of them tied together. The BMW versus the Subaru. Look at Rory Butcher. He's virtually there. He's taken Hill and Jordan with him. It's 5 for the lead. Turkington back at the head of the queue. Now he needs to at least hang on to this advantage to the timing line to get a point for a lap led.
Another point. Oh, Cook's now off. Cook's, it looks like he's got damage on the right front. Yeah, he's weaving to get dirt, but I think there's damage on the right front.
Okay, so let's try and piece all that together as the leading quintet comes now then down towards Clark Curve. Fastest lap from Andrew Jordan, point for that. Turkington and Sutton just edging away slightly from Butcher. Ingram's making decent progress, set up better in these conditions. Riding with Jordan coming over the line now.
Yeah, so Camish has got through on Cook. Cook's the one that lost out. Camish is up to 7th. Be interested to see if he can catch up this group in front. But now that Turkington's in front and he could drive his own line, he hasn't got to defend from Sutton. Sutton's more likely to be under pressure from Butcher. Turkington could be away with this one.
Now Cook has stayed out, but he's down in 23rd place, and that is as the cars now come through. Matt Simpson having a drama. and he is in the tyres at Paddock Hill Bend. That's going to be a safety car, I would have thought. That's just near us on the run to the first corner. Yes, safety car is deployed. Everybody will bunch up. Tyre temperatures will change. This could have an impact on the second part of the race. Thumbs up from the marshal. Matt's okay, but that's quite an off, I think, going into...
This is on board with Josh Cook. Let's see what happened. He has a bit of a moment, just loses the rear grip, has to keep his foot hard in. Oh, he went across the road in front of everybody. And back across the road. Wow.
And through the gravel. Blimey, was that the save of the day?
How he didn't get collected, I really don't know.
And this is Matt Simpson.
Oh, straight in.
Yeah.
Straight in there.
So here we go, racing again at Brands Hatch at the end of lap 10 of an 18-lap race then as they come across the line. Turkington leads, change for second, straight away. Rory Butcher goes through on the inside line. That's nailed it, that's second place for him. Sutton down to third, fourth is Hill. Big sideways moment for Ingram in the background, just avoids spearing into Camish. Here comes Mike Bushell, look at the inside of Tom Oliphant. And yet again in the championship this year, the weather conditions are going to throw the lap chart up into the air and shuffle the order.
Yeah, Camish and Ingram went round the outside of Oliphant. Ingram nearly lost it, but the BMW is struggling. Here comes Butcher along the bottom straight.
And here comes Hill as well for third place. Butcher for the race lead. Our third different race leader. He goes through, the Scottish driver, ahead of Colin Turkington. Now, Jake Hill is third, so the front-wheel drive cars making progress.
Yeah, they're all coming. Look, the rear-wheel drive cars are just struggling in these conditions. Turkington doing his best.
It's the replay of that change for the lead, but the rain is not bucketing down, is it yet?
Turkington just could not get the car turned and off Graham Hill corner. Sutton having the same fate. Oh, no!
Sam Osborne in the gravel at Sheen Curve. Sam, first man onto wets and maybe pushing too hard too soon has binned it, and that could be another safety car as well.
If it's a safety car, it's a huge, huge advantage to those on wets further back, isn't it?
Yeah, to close back up again. There is Hill going for second round the outside at Paddock. Camish sideways round the outside of Sutton. He goes through, but he goes a little bit wider. Has he done it? Yes, he has. Right round the outside. Brave, brave stuff. Good move.
Look, and Camish is behind Turkington now as Ingram gets pushed off by Sutton.
And Jordan gains 2 places on the inside. So Ash Sutton leans on Ingram and goes wide, and Ingram falls down even wider. Camish is on the move now to get himself up past Turkington. Look, there they are side by side for third place. Camish goes through. Turkington doesn't fight that.
Well, Colin knows when he's not got the best car. He knows when he's not got superior grip, and he wasn't going to fight that battle. He's still outscoring Jordan, and if he doesn't lose too many points to Cook on wets with a problem.
Indeed so. Cook's got a problem, and that's bad news for the Independence title. It's something mechanical, we understand. Matt Neal leads the wet shod drivers in 17th place, but Josh Cook limps round, and that is bad, bad news for him. There are the 3 leaders covered now by 9/10. So in real terms, Camish is closing on Butcher. It was 1.1, it's down to 0.9.
Yeah, and Bushell is in front of Jordan. Look, Bushell's overtaken Jordan, so that's going to cost Jordan points.
Car off at Paddock as well, going wide through the gravel. I think it's going to get back on. It looked like a grey car, so Chris Smiley would be my offering, having run wide on his slick tyres on the wet road. There are the 3 race leaders. Rory Butcher trying to hang on here for a 4th victory of the season, a 4th win, amazingly, for a team that hadn't had a victory at the start of the year. Here is Mike Bushell on the back of Andrew Jordan, coming down in replay towards Paddock.
Yeah, oh, you could hear Jordan locking up there on the down changes. That shows how little grip they've got. That's what caused him to go off to Hawthorns in qualifying, but no defence against Mike Bushell in the front-wheel drive AMD Honda.
And that is Santa Proctor, who is off at Surtees, and he's well and truly in the gravel. We're on lap 14 of 18. There are the leaders. Are we going to have another interruption? Let us find out. Yellow flags are being shown. Camish is on the attack here. He's on the back of Jake Hill. It's still Turkington 4th. And the safety car is on standby, so they are seemingly going to have to neutralise the race. If anybody else goes wide at Surtees, they'll find the Subaru, and then we'd have big damage, and that's not what they need. So the race could yet be neutralised once more. This would bunch everybody up. But here is Camish. He's on the attack. We've not yet got a safety car board out on the line, so he's perfectly entitled to keep fighting on the outside line, which he does. Has he found the traction? Not quite. So Jake Hill hangs onto the plate up towards the line.
Yeah, no sign of the safety car yet. If the safety car was to come out now, it would hugely advantage the wet cars, because the slick shod guys would just lose all the temperature in their tyres. The wet guys would be able to just catch up on the road, be a huge advantage there. Cam is trying around the outside at Druids. Will he have the grip to go all the way, or will he try to cut back to the inside? He gets a better exit there, but Hill's driving a great defensive race, but it's dragging them back away from Butcher.
And then he gets sideways, and this is Camish's chance. Go, go, go. Down up the inside, takes second place, takes more points as well. A crucial pass for the championship, and you can see the delight at Team Dynamics, because don't forget, Dan Camish started this race 12th. He's now up to second. Yesterday, the moon was really dark, wasn't it, after qualifying? And all of a sudden, they're all smiles.
Well, it's not over yet, but he's certainly made inroads. But Turkington is still there in 4th place, outscoring Jordan. So Camish is not taking a huge number of points. Just a coldish right rear tyre on Hill's car just caught him out there.
Down they come. This is how the championship looks at the moment. 13 points between Turkington and Camish. So they turn out of Clark Curve, and now for the race lead. Dan Camish comes up to have a go on the outside line. So is he going to be able to attack for the lead? Yes, he is on the outside line. Camish leads the way. Camish goes deep into the corner, but he's done it. He's only led 6 laps all season, but now Dan Camish is up front from 12th off the grid. Dynamics can't believe it.
Well, he is so brave in these conditions. His touch, his feel, his car control, absolutely supreme. I pointed it out at Silverstone when we were in similar conditions, and he's reinforcing why Honda have given him a new 2-year deal.
So from 12th on the grid to the race lead, let's try and recap the order. So there is the leader, Dan Camish. Second is Rory Butcher. Look at the gap. Third, Turkington. 4th, Bushell. 5th, Jordan. Down to 6th, Hill. 7th is Goff. 8th is Jackson. 9th now is Sutton. Then you've got Matt Neal into the top 10 on wet, chased by Chilton, who is on wet tyres. That's Michael Caine, who is on slicks, and he's dropping back. So Neal and Chilton into the top 10, and this the replay of the pass for the lead.
Really brave, going for the outside, braking ever so late. Look how close to the edge of the track he gets, and he's still on the brakes then. And then he's able to get on the throttle, pull in front of Bushell as Bushell is running wide and just misses the back of his car.
Jake Hill's got a problem, look, more places lost. So running in second place earlier, and that's Chris Smiley's car parked on the grass as well. So we've lost both the BTC cars, unfortunately. Remember, Smiley had a gravelly moment. He has parked it. Hill is out of the race, seemingly limping to the pit lane. The fastest lap done by Tom Oliphant. He's now dropped to 14th on the wrong tyres for the conditions. We've got 2 laps to go at the end of this, and Dan Camish is about, of course, not only to come through as race leader, but gain a bonus point for leading across the timing line. And Dan Camish will, this time around, at the end of 16 laps, be the race leader already by over 3 seconds from Rory Butcher. That is Dan Camish, race leader. So he has now done 8 laps of the season in the lead. That's all, but through he goes, banking points, looking for another victory. And what a drive it's been.
Been an absolutely stupendous drive. He's taken risk, he's got the reward, he's used his natural talent to push forward. You could not have asked more of a man that started in 12th place.
Absolutely right. So here you've got the battle going on between what is now, well, Jordan's gone already. Matt Neal and Chilton ahead of the BMW, and they've already latched themselves onto the back of Mike Bushell. So Matt Neal's going to gain another place. The real target for him has got to be to try and take points off Turkington, and he gets past Mike Bushell. So Matt Neal to get ahead of Colin by the end of the race. It's a real possibility as Chilton gets out his elbows and leans on Bushell.
Yeah, and if Matt Neal and Chilton both get past Turkington, that's a big chunk of points. Wow, has Matt Neal ever helped his teammate here? And I think they will. I think they'll drive straight past him.
Yeah, the trouble for Turkington, as you say, it's not just one car, it's 2, because they are absolutely as one, aren't they? Neal and Chilton, it's like an 8-wheeler that's going to come through.
Where are they going to do it? They're not going to do it into Hawthorns, but they might on the run to Westfield with superior speed through the corner. Neal's using his wet tyres. He'll pull to the inside. Chilton will follow, and Turkington's going to have to give that up, isn't he? Look, he's fighting to get back in, but Chilton's not going to let him.
Well, Matt Neal has gone. Chilton goes through on the inside. That puts Turkington down to 5th. Well, very much advantage Camish now. This is going to really tee it up for the rest of the day, isn't it?
Happy days. This is what we wanted to see.
It's good for us, good for Dynamics, not so good for others, maybe. But there is Dan Camish. He started 12th, and he is about to come through then to score a second win of the season. He's done this on slicks with 48 kilos of weight. A great drive by Dan Camish to get back into the title race. Dan Camish wins round 28 of the championship. Second across the line should go the way of Matt Neal. It's going to be a Dynamics 1-2. Matt Neal has done it. He's taken second place after the pit stop. Chilton third. Down to fourth, Butcher, Turkington fifth ahead of Bushell. Jelly, Jordan is eighth in the end because Jelly on wet's got ahead of him. Jordan eighth, Jack Goff ninth, Ollie Jackson 10th. And Dynamics, the Neal family, they are absolutely delighted. Dan Camish wins race 1, Brands Hatch Grand Prix Circuit 2019, ahead of Matt Neal and Tom Chilton third. Rory Butcher fourth, ahead of Colin Turkington. Mike Bushell bagged sixth from Stephen Jelly after his pit stop to go onto wets. Don't forget Andrew Jordan eighth from Jack Goff. Ollie Jackson 10th. What does that do to the championship? 7 points between Colin Turkington and Dan Camish. Andrew Jordan is down to third, Josh Cook fourth, Rory Butcher fifth, Tom Ingram sixth, then it's Matt Neal, Jason Plato, Ash Sutton, Tom Chilton. 2 races to go, 7 points between the top 2, Colin Turkington and Dan Camish, race 1 winner at Brands.
Coming up next, action from the British Touring Car Championship. Welcome back to Brands Hatch and the British Touring Car Championship.
So the front of the grid lining up. Dan Camish a little way back from his white line.
Yeah, he's not going to make that mistake again, is he? But and he's got his teammate as rear gunner. The first rear-wheel drive car, Turkington, on row 3, will probably get boxed in.
So some of the fascination in this is Camish, others Turkington, but what kind of a start and what sort of effect will Matt Neal have? Round 29 of the Quick Fit British Touring Car Championship is almost ready to get underway. Just Matt Simpson's car to crawl back into position at the end of that green flag lap to get some warmth into the Dunlop tyres. Next year, it's Goodyear tyres for everybody as another brand from the family will take responsibility. So the grid is formed, the race is ready to go, the lights will go red. When the lights go out red, round 29 will be go now. Good start for Turkington, he needs it, he's got past Butcher, he's alongside the Ford, he's alongside Matt Neal, he easily picks off Matt Neal on the way to the first corner. He's second and he comes up to have a nibble at the back of the Honda of Dan Camish. So a demon getaway by Colin Turkington. The BMW away like a frightened ferret. There's a big slide for Jack Goff in the mid-pack and he drills Tom Oliphant and Adam Morgan's involved. 3 off at the first corner. That's going to be a safety car.
Safety car for sure. A great start by Turkington. Threaded the eye of the needle, got up to second, but he's under attack from Matt Neal. Matt Neal's tapped Turkington and Turkington spun.
Turkington is facing the wrong way. Suddenly the day changes, and if it was contact from a Dynamics Honda, there is going to be all sorts of ructions about that. Turkington rejoins, Stone last. He's in the race, but that was very costly indeed.
There's going to be massive talking about that. This is on board with Camish from the start. Little bit of bogging, then a little bit of wheel spin. That's actually not a bad start from where he was in a front-wheel drive car.
Turkington to his left, comes up to have a go. Camish stands his ground, leads into and out of paddock, but then it all kicked off behind him. And Turkington has gone to the pit lane. So Colin Turkington into the pits.
See, there's Matt Neal around the outside, already trying to find a gap. This is a great camera angle. Look, Turkington thinks he's covered the inside. Neal comes halfway alongside.
And around goes the BMW, and the impact such to put Turkington, as I say, into the pit lane. He is heading back out again on slicks. So Turkington at the back has gone for slick tyres. It's the only thing to do to make progress.
It's a good call by West Surrey, especially if we get more safety cars. It's a very good call. But, of course, we know, as we saw in the last race, the BMW in these conditions on slicks is not particularly good, but it could come to him later in the race.
So this is how the championship would look, because it would put Dan Camish ahead by 14 points. Turkington at the moment, of course, not in the points, not scoring. So pendulum very much swings Dan Camish's way, but I can imagine the paperwork is being filed already from WSR against Dynamics after that. So there are the Hondas. Matt Neal making that move, and you've seen it. Decide for yourself whether it was deliberate or not. But Matt, let's have another look. This turn one on the outside line, Turkington. Slots back in.
We're looking further back to see the spin, back across the field, tags Oliphant. Morgan is the innocent party in it all, though. But at the end of the day, Jack Goff couldn't see what... I think he just lost the rear, didn't he? Just lost the rear, and then in trying to collect it, he collects Oliphant, and poor Adam Morgan is just in the wrong place.
That's right, we're ready to go racing then. And Dan Camish will lead, Matt Neal will play rear gunner and try and keep everybody else at bay, and then we'll keep an eye to the pace of those on the slick tyres and see if and when they start to kick in as we go racing. Then in round 29 of the championship, we are back to green flag conditions as they come now, up towards the timing line, through they go. Camish leads the way, Matt Neal second. Third is Chilton, down towards paddock. Fourth is Sutton. Side by side for fifth, Andrew Jordan on the inside line goes ahead of Mike Bushell, so he gains a place, Andrew Jordan, and of course gains points relative to Turkington.
Yeah, that was a nice clean pass, so plenty of grip in that Pertec BMW. Last time today we're going to see Pertec for the foreseeable future in the British Touring Car Championship, and indeed shredded wheat on the motorbase cars, so sad loss of two very good sponsors.
So the race leaders come onto Cooper Straight. There you can see Chilton coming up to have a go at Matt Neal. Jordan needs to be working his way forward as well, of course, and he's fully mindful of that. There is Mike Bushell keeping Stephen Jelly at bay. Plato to the outside of Jackson. This is Jordan's view, and you can see a great scrap going on ahead as Sutton and Chilton go side by side. Subaru to the inside, the Ford Focus on the outside. Mike Bushell is being given a drive-through penalty for a false start, so Mike Bushell, who has just dropped to sixth, is going to drop further down the order. Through goes Sutton. He goes up one place, then dropping down towards Hawthorns, and a big slide by Jordan.
That was a big slide, remember that's where he went off in qualifying, but it appears that the rear-wheel drive cars are working okay at the moment on the wet tyres, certainly. Jelly getting past there. That's Ollie Jackson.
Goes through on the inside. And then also coming up to have a go is Plato. You've got Michael Caine running 10th. That for second place. Look is Sutton trying to get up the inside of Matt Neal. So is he going to be able to go by? If Sutton gets ahead of Neal and then gets ahead of Camish, that'd be good news for Jordan. So Sutton goes by, gains a place. And Matt Neal will come back at him potentially, but no, Sutton has gone. So now that Subaru looking as though it's going to play a significant part in the order of the race, because it is much, much lighter than the car it's chasing.
Yeah, and the sensible call would be to go out from Dynamics to don't fight with Sutton, because he's one of the most aggressive charging drivers out there, and there's nothing to be gained by fighting him from Camish's point of view. You might as well just let him go.
What about Jordan? He's on the back of Chilton now, isn't he? That BMW starting to make progress as the race wears on. So Jordan there or thereabouts. They make the sprint now up towards Sheen Curve. Fastest lap of the race so far, incidentally, done by Michael Caine, who is going very strongly in 9th place for Motorbase, which has got all three of its Fords within the top 10 at the moment. Look how close Sutton is now to Camish. Down to clearways they come. Look back from Camish's car. There goes Sutton to the inside line. He dives up the inside. Camish gives him racing room very sensibly. Ash Sutton goes through into the lead of the race, takes points off Camish, but Dan will hang on to that second place, and now Sutton should be able to drive away. So the wet tyres are still working well. Matt Neal is also working well at keeping Jordan at bay. Sutton's escaping up the road. This is how the championship would be still. Turkington not in the points. Camish has lost ground, so it's 10 between Camish and Turkington as we stand, with Jordan then a further 9 points back. So it's looking good for Camish, but that's not to say he's guaranteed a second place finish, because they still could try and get up with him. If Jordan can find a way past Matt Neal, anything's possible, and Mark Blundell on slicks is in the gravel, and that should surely be another safety car,
which is exactly what the slick guys want. Yeah. It'll close the whole field up again. They've got more heat in their tyres. The race is forever getting closer to their sort of lap time, as long as it doesn't rain anymore.
So Jordan on the back of Matt Neal. They race until they get to the boards. The safety car has not yet been deployed, even though we're expecting it. So the battle is on, and here is Jordan to the inside line. Is this going to work? Yes, 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 yes. Leans on Matt Neal. Matt leans on Andrew. Elbows out, the BMW goes through, but there's a little bit of smoke. There's certainly damage to the BMW. Is that affecting the tyre? Let's see. Down they come. So Andrew Jordan has gone through. Chilton comes up to have a go at Matt Neal as well, but Matt hangs on to the place. But really, the main focus there was to keep Jordan at bay, and he has not been able to succeed in that mission. The BMW, elbows out from Andrew Jordan, has gone through.
But again, I still say the same thing. I'm not sure whether Camish will. He needs to pick his fights. Does he pick a fight with Jordan to keep him behind, or does he give up one position? Safety car is now coming out. I've been looking at the Marshall's post for the boards. Haven't seen the boards yet. Watch the Marshall's posts as they approach Clearway. There it is on your left, SC, safety car board. So at that point, they have to stop racing. Neil tries to go around the outside, Jordan's up the inside, the two converge on the exit. In fairness, Matt Neal was on the edge of the track at that point.
Right, all eyes on Jordan now relative to Camish. These are the top two on the track in the title fight. And then also look further back and see what progress Turkington can make as they come across the line. Now, we've had one safety car period, but we stay on the 18 laps, which means we've only got 6 to go. So for those on the slicks to get in and among the traffic, they're really going to have to work hard. And it's not that easy yet because there's a big gap that's opened up once again between those on wets and those on slicks. Look as they pour down through paddock. That is Jason Plato on the tail of Ollie Jackson now. So what about Jordan to Camish? Well, Camish has got away a little bit, hasn't he, on this restart from the BMW. Lap 13 of 18.
Yeah, I just wonder if the BMW's tyres cooled off a little bit too much, but I think he'll give it a lap and Jordan will be right there on the back of Camish.
Matt Neal is in 4th, 5th, Chilton 6th, Jackson having another good run. Ollie Jackson, in fairness, is somebody else that's just got better and better and better this season with a competitive car underneath him and more experience in touring car racing. Ash Sutton is on his way to start race 3. He's that far ahead already. And their drama, Rob Collard is in strife. He's got Bobby Thompson up with him, but there's damage on Collard's Astra. Is this the start of the move now? Coming out of Stirling's, goes to the outside line. Heads down towards Clark Curve. So the move for Paddock starts here, doesn't it? Camish defends. Jordan wants to try to fire it up the inside, coming out of the corner. He's got a good run through Clark Curve. Good drive off the corner. He's alongside. Is he just about? Here he comes. Jordan through on the inside line. Andrew Jordan goes ahead, takes the place, takes the points away from Camish. Jordan up to 2nd. And that, come the end of the day, could be another hugely important move with Turkington still mired down in 25th place. Jordan goes 2nd, but Camish comes back at him. Jordan fends him off at Druids.
Great move by Andy Jordan there. He knew where his car was strong, but Matt, I just don't think Camish needs to pick a fight with him anymore. He just needs to take the points from this race, outscore Turkington. Yes, he's lost a couple of points or so to Jordan, but that doesn't matter.
So the next car that could be a threat to Camish would be Chilton, but he can't find a way past Matt Neal. So really, Camish is pretty much secure in that 3rd place now.
Yeah, which would suit him very well. Let's have a quick look at the lap times again. 1:47.1 was the last lap time for Colin Turkington, but he's in traffic. And the leader's doing 43, so still not quicker.
No, Hill 45s as the leading car on slicks, as against a 43 for Sutton. And he did a 41 on the restart lap, so that was a storming lap. But as the cars go there up towards Westfield, that is the race leader, Ash Sutton, who's 4 seconds clear. He's going to be our 12th different winner of the season if he hangs on. And Camish would have an advantage over Turkington of 8 points going into the final round. Now, of course, it's the reverse grid, but Turkington's going to be 25th on it anyway. So there is Ash Sutton. He has nothing to worry about in a sense. He can't influence the championship. He is up front. He's driving a beautiful race. And the 2017 champion goes through then ahead of Andrew Jordan. And it's 3.5 seconds, that gap now. There in 3rd is Camish. And 4th is Jason Plato now. So if Jason can get up and get another position off Camish before the end, that would help the BMW contingent. So he gets ahead of Matt Neal. Plato is making really good progress. Late race, isn't he?
Yeah, that's come alive, hasn't it, that car? And he won't take any prisoners. I think he might well be right on the back of Camish by the end of the next lap, because he's still got half a lap of this one and the last lap to go.
We're looking to see the order behind as there goes Plato round Druids. Lead gap 4.3 seconds, Sutton, Jordan, and then it's this Camish-Plato battle. But Ash Sutton is set to be the 12th different victor of the season as he comes now up towards 30s. Jordan 2nd, and then Camish versus Plato in the 1st sector. Plato 2/10 quicker.
And Jordan is struggling himself. They're both catching Jordan.
Absolutely right, and Plato hustling on. Matt Neal still the roadblock for the motor-based cars behind. So it's Chilton, Jackson, Kane, Butcher is 9th, Jelly 10th, Prop Truck to 11th, Moffat down to 12th, 13th is Cook, 14th is Boardley, 15th is Rowbottom in the points again, as of course is Carl Boardley, and Plato hooks a wheel on the dirt and around it goes as he sails saved it? He has. He's off through the gravel. Jason Plato saves a massive slide. Neil gets past him. Chilton gets past him. Jackson gets past him. Jason can put that in volume 2 of his book. That was quite a save.
But more importantly, it's pressure off Camish, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Camish can stroke it to the line now. A terrific drive by Sutton. Absolutely superb. He's always good in these conditions. Use the car's strengths to his own, and perfect race for him.
Ash Sutton then comes for his first victory of this season in the Subaru for BMR. The checkered flag at the ready. Round 29 of the Quick Fit British Touring Car Championship is won by Ash Sutton, who has worked so hard for that all season. Second place to Andrew Jordan, third to Dan Camish. Fourth will go the way of Matt Neal, and now the discussions start. Fifth across the line will be Chilton, sixth Jackson. Ash Sutton wins round 29 of the championship ahead of Andrew Jordan. Dan Camish takes third from Matt Neal, Tom Chilton fifth and Ollie Jackson sixth. A massive slide drops Jason Plato to seventh ahead of Michael Gaines, best ever eighth, Rory Butcher ninth and Stephen Jelly in the top 10. So Dan Camish 8 points up in the championship from Colin Turkington. Andrew Jordan third now from Josh Cook and then Rory Butcher. Tom Ingram sixth from Matt Neal. Ash Sutton is eighth. Jason Plato ninth and 10th. It's Tom Chilton.
Coming up next, more action from Brands Hatch. Welcome back to the British Touring Car Championship title decider.
Oh no, Chris Smiley's season looks to have come to an unfortunate end. That's down in the dip just before Hawthorns, I think.
And if you can't get it started, it could be a delayed start, it could be an
Go through that gap.
Yeah. So Chris Smiley sadly missing from the grid, but that does at least mean that we should be able to get things underway because the back of the grid is still forming up. Right, so it is Senna Proctor's Subaru on pole.
And that's good for Colin Turkington. He didn't want any laps taken off the race
Yeah,
distance.
indeed. It's also one less car to get past, isn't it? Because Smiley would have been ahead of him on the grid. So one Northern Irishman's travails helps than others. There, the back of the grid into position slots Mark Blundell. Tom Oliphant behind him. Jack Goff is sadly missing as well. So the damage sustained in race 2, keeping him out of race 3. Really disappointing way for Jack Goff's year to end as well. So then, we are set to go. A whole season hinges on this one race. Get ready for the showdown of the Quick Fit British Touring Car Championship. Round 30 is underway. Good start by Stephen Jelly. Good start by Jordan. He gets ahead of Camish. He charges through the pack. He's got 1, 2, 3 cars already behind him, plus Camish. So he's forging the way through to the front. He's on the outside line, diving into paddock. Jelly is away and gone. Proctor is second. This is Jordan's view. He has got to win this race, really, to keep the hopes of the championship alive. That is Rory Butcher ahead of him. He wants to win the Independence Trophy. He's a point back from Josh Cook. He, too, is eager to make progress as they dive downhill for the first time. But it's Jordan ahead of Camish, and that's significant.
Yeah, great start by Jordan. Camish is in the mix. He's got Sutton right behind him. He's really in a difficult position. There's going to be lots of bunching, but Jordan has set off as he moves to go. Sutton goes round the outside. Is there going to be contact with Jordan? No, they just save it.
And Josh Cook, look, has managed to get round the outside of this lot on the soft tyre. So Cook is making progress forward. Two things to note, soft tyre, how that works, and Cook relative to Butcher further up the road, because Cook is only 1 point ahead of him in the independent standings at the moment. Jelly leads the way, Proctor second, and then in third is Jason Plato. Could Jason side out the season with a win, because he's knocking on the door again? This is Camish.
Well, a bit of action there. That was Sutton trying to get past the motor-based car. Yeah, Jason Plato hasn't had a win here yet this year again. He saw Sutton do it, his former teammate in the last race. He'd love to get a win.
And there is Sutton being elbowed out wide. Ollie Jackson is not being roughed up in this. Right, here comes Jordan to have a go at Ash Sutton as they drop down towards Clark Curve. Camish trying to stay on the tail of the BMW as they forge away forwards. End of lap 1, they will come across the timing line. Stephen Jelly in the older BMW 1 Series, the Alton Park winner, inherited winner, leads the way. Ash Sutton having a bit of a weave up towards paddock there. So Jelly, Proctor, Plato, first, second, third. Butcher fourth. Chilton is fifth. Cook 6th, 7th is Jackson. Sutton is in 8th spot, works that cardboardly off in the background. 9th is Jordan, 10th is Camish. He's under attack from Aidan Moffat now.
Yeah, as it stands at the moment, Camish doesn't need to fight with Jordan because Jordan came into this race 13 points behind, so he can sit there, but he's got a lot of attention from Aidan Moffat.
Exactly, and that's Plato, look, going for second against Senna Proctor, so the ex-Subaru racer goes ahead of the current one, and now it is Jelly that is the target for Plato. Right, looking back from Jordan's car, you've got Camish bearing down on him, but Camish now having to defend because Moffat wants to gain a place. And that is now Proctor going through on the inside of Butcher, or sorry, keeping the place on the inside of Butcher. Butcher now attacks and goes through. Yep, job done. That makes Josh Cook's life harder.
Yep, they're all. This is the driest the track has been all day. Oh no, we got Chilton off.
That's at Westfield. Now, can he drive around the outside of the gravel trap and get back into the race, or is this going to be neutralised? Turkington, by the way, is up to 15th at the end of one lap, so effectively 10 places up from the grid position. That means that he is working forward and he's in the points already. Leaders coming to Clark Curve. Stephen Jelly leads the race. He won forever forward in race 1. It was Senna Proctor that won it in race 2, but now Jason Plato leads at Brands Hatch. Plato it is, up front as he comes across the line, 5th on the grid. Race leader, so Plato up front, diving down towards Paddock Hill Bend. The Vauxhall Astra on the front of the grid for the opening round of the championship. It could be a winning car at the end of the season. Let's see. Turkington's up to 13th now, making progress forward, and he's not done yet. Look, here he comes. He's got Matt Neal behind him. Tom Ingram is ahead, and Turkington then with Neal right up behind him. Gets you a bit nervous, I suspect, bearing in mind what happened earlier on. And that is Tom Chilton hopping away from the Ford, but his race is done, that's for sure. This is what happened to Chilton. Oh dear, that was Josh Cook getting involved with him, wasn't it?
Yeah, it looked like Tom was just moving back across to take his line.
Josh Cook, fastest lap of the race. Senna Proctor runs wide. That's Butcher on the inside of Jelly. They lean on each other going into Westfield. Jelly gets forced out wide, so Josh Cook gains a place. Senna Proctor is a manufacturer entry, so Cook's target for independent points is Butcher. This is for the overall championship. Camish potentially the champion with a tie behind Jordan. Oh, that's Cook on Proctor going into Sterling. Proctor sideways and off the road. And he's still trying to sort out the moment. Josh Cook involved in another incident. But he said he had to force a way through. He is being forceful.
Yep, but of course it helps Turkington.
Yes.
He's the man coming through. Turkington, here we get an onboard of the incident. Proctor had to tap the brakes just to stop himself running into the back of, and there just really wasn't room, was there?
Josh Cook down the inside. Here it is from another angle. He commits to the move, but... discuss. They will post-race. So this is Butcher versus Cook. Remember, it was Cook ahead by a point. They run 2nd and 3rd in the race, 1 and 2 in the independent, so there's that subplot to all of this. And that's Stephen Jelly in stride, so Jordan gains a place, Camish gains a place, Turkington gains a place. Everybody benefits out of all of that, up to 9th now, Colin Turkington.
Yeah, the further they get, the bigger the points are, of course, nearer the front.
But Turkington needs to get ahead of Camish. He knows all of this, of course, but he can't find a way past Ingram, and Ingram hasn't found a way past that Honda yet as well. But here is Turkington on a charge. Jordan gains a place, goes through on the inside of Jackson.
Jackson was wide on the exit of Hawthorns. He's going to be now the meat in the sandwich because 2 championship contenders, Jordan and Camish, either side of him.
Something has got to happen. In a moment, you get the feeling it's going to kick off. It's still this 10-point advantage that Camish has. Turkington is being outscored by him, and yet, if he can find a way through, let's see. Ingram is ahead. This is Turkington's chance. He goes for it. He's at the inside. Gap opens up. Through he goes. So Ingram gives him racing room. Turkington goes by, and now he sets off in pursuit of Dan Camish, and this is where it gets really tasty.
Well, Colin is the most disciplined driver out on the grid, arguably. He gets involved in less scuffles than anybody else, and he's an honourable driver, so I don't think he's going to do anything crazy, but he wants to get past Camish.
There is Plato leading the way by, what's the margin, 2.8 seconds from Butcher. Now Cook is under attack from Ash Sutton. His old mate has arrived on his bootlid, bringing Jordan with him. And now, look, Camish is on the attack against Ollie Jackson. He'd like to get past and try and get a cushion between him and Turkington. And Turkington, I was going to say, he's having to move at paddock. He's going to have a go on the inside up to Druid. Here comes Colin Turkington on the inside. Camish on the outside line. The BMW is going to be through. Is it on the inside? They lead on each other. Ingram goes by as well. Turkington one up. Ingram one up, so 2 places lost for Camish. Now Turkington is ahead. Now he can outscore Camish. Now it gets even more interesting.
Now it does get very interesting. Camish had no choice but to concede that position. Into Druids. He moved out of the way when Colin Turkington started to rub. He had no choice, but Ingram was straight through as well.
Turkington's not out of the proverbial woods yet. He needs another place, possibly 2. And the problem is that even if he gets past Jackson, there's so little time left and so much of a gap up the road. He's going to struggle to make any more places.
But there could be incident in front.
There could. He's got to get past Jackson, first of all, in fairness. And Ollie Jackson is doing a good job of defending here, but he has got a 3-time champion crawling all over the back of him. The BMW attacks, does it, coming up towards Sheen Curve. What limited visibility Turkington has got through the screen. You can just see the bright yellow Ford Focus, the motor-based car. Turns into Sterling's bit of a wobble by Jackson. Does this give Turks a chance? Let's see on the run down towards Clearways. He's closing, that's for sure.
Well, I tell you what, I put my house on Turkington getting past Ollie Jackson. It's just too important. Here's the as it stands at the moment. Camish would only win by 6 points. And of course, if Turkington gets past, that's going to be reduced even more.
So over the timing line they go. Turkington does need to get past. But then he's 7 seconds away from Andrew Jordan, who's not going to roll over and give up a place. Turkington tries the inside. Jackson defends really well here. Turkington into the back of him, possibly there. A little bit of a rub, maybe. Jackson forced out wide. Turkington does not seize the opportunity. That would have been a push to pass, so he backed out of it. Sensible stuff. Goes back to your point about him being an honourable driver.
Well read. He actually knew he'd pushed him. He didn't accelerate off the corner because he didn't want to be penalised after the race for a push to pass.
And that shows you how his mind is working. He's fighting for a championship, and yet in a split second he's able to make that decision. Now Jordan might get himself up past Cook here. Sutton has gone through. Cook's soft tyre possibly is starting to wane. He's also picked up a bit of damage we saw in a couple of skirmishes early on. So sadly Josh Cook's independent dream looks like it's getting away from him because Rory Butcher is a solid second behind Jason Plato. But if Jordan were to gain another place out of this, you never know. And there, look, Jackson goes wide, so Turkington is now through. Ingram goes through as well, but Camish is not through.
Yeah, and now he's got Adam Morgan right behind him. Morgan has come through.
Now this is the interesting thing. We've been talking about Turkington gaining places, but now do we need to start factoring in Camish losing places?
Exactly.
Because if Morgan takes a place away and Turkington is moving forwards, we're now looking at 5 points, but only 2 laps to go.
Oh, these are going to be the longest 2 laps of Dan Camish's life. Look, he's right in the mix. Does he force it? Does he defend? Does he attack? What does he do?
Well, he's going to attack Jackson, but Morgan wants to find a way by. Nobody wants to be the driver held responsible for affecting a championship. But look at Morgan. He's off the corner. Well, Camish defends. Adam Morgan to the outside line. The Morganator tries to go right round the outside of Camish in the Honda. But that's going to put him in a bit of jeopardy, maybe, unless he can stand his ground for the inside down to Graham Hill. Ben Camish stays ahead of it. There's 1 more lap to run at the end of this. Camish looking to gain places, but Morgan is right there. And then you've got Oliphant. Now, Tom Oliphant needs to drive harder than ever before and see if he can get up past Camish. That's not going to be easy with less than 2 laps to go, but that's the other last hope, really, WSR has, if Oliphant somehow could get ahead of Camish and take points away.
Yeah, or if there could be an instant ahead. Remember, we've got Jordan and Cook close together. Oh, no!
That's Camish, he's off the road. Dan Camish in the gravel. Dan Camish is out of the race, surely. He's gone through the gravel, he's gone backwards. Was that anything to do with the brakes? You talked about how red hot they'd been looking and something failed, because suddenly Dan Camish is off the road and the championship dream looks like it is over.
Unbelievable.
Talk us through it. This is the onboard.
Yeah, something snapped on the car. Something snapped on the car when he went on the brakes.
Colin Turkington, out of nowhere, suddenly will be British Touring Car Champion from 25th on the grid. What a race.
Nobody would deny that Colin Turkington is a hugely deserving champion. He's been absolutely brilliant all year. Desperately unlucky for Camish. He did nothing wrong. But Plato is going to win the 30th race of the year.
Jason Plato wins the final round of the Quick Fit British Touring Car Championship, and for the 4th time in his career, the British Touring Car Champion is Colin Turkington. The BMW driver, he's almost in tears already, comes across the line. Look at that outpouring of emotion. Colin Turkington has done it. Colin Turkington wins the championship. At Dynamics, they just can't believe what they have seen. Jason Plato, a 97th race win of his career, ahead of Rory Butcher, the independent champion, Ash Sutton 3rd from Andrew Jordan 4th. Josh Cook 5th, ahead of Colin Turkington 6th, the new champion. Then it's Tom Ingram, Ollie Jackson, Adam Morgan and Tom Oliphant in 10th. So what do we do for points at the end of the season? It looks like this. 2 points is Colin Turkington's advantage over a tie for 2nd. Can you believe it? Andrew Jordan and Dan Camish. Josh Cook 4th from Rory Butcher and Tom Ingram. Then it's Jason Plato, Ash Sutton, Matt Neal and Tom Chilton.